Howdy, howdy, howdy. Happy to be here and happy you're here with me. And if you're new here, I hope you enjoy this content and will subscribe. Okay, so today we are going to talk about how my market went. Yeah, I'm laughing. Um, so I knew that the weather predicted a rain around 4 o'clock. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can pack it up a little bit early, and we can have a good day. Ah, well, Mr. Weather decided that wasn't going to be the case. So we ended up putting the walls up right away. It was, 7 something in the morning, and we were already having drizzle. And I saw that that was possible and that it was only going to last maybe an hour. Well, that was a lie. It lasted all day long. Actually, it was on, off, on, off. Because as soon as it stopped drizzling, I took my walls down. And no sooner I take my walls down and I get situated, and starts drizzling again. So it was an all-day battle with the drizzle. And every time I took my walls down, my product started to get drizzled on, and so things were starting to get wet. So of course I put the walls back up again, and so on and so on. And another bad thing was that there was initially supposed to be 8 vendors, and 4 of those vendors canceled. So there were only 4 vendors sitting out there, and only 2, me and another girl, were actually selling items. One of them was a sign-up booth, and another one was a Bible course group. More like a Bible study kind of thing. Sign up for a Bible study. And so yeah, that was it. Just me and her and 2 sign-up booths. And by noon, one of the sign-up guys left, and by 12:30, the other seller left. So it was just me and the Bible study group. And of course I had to have my walls up, so I was kind of isolated inside of my tent, And anyway, so yeah, and the traffic was not heavy. It was just, I don't know what it was. It was possibly, I heard that some graduations were going on. I heard that, of course, the next day was going to be Cinco de Mayo, which, of course, if you live in South Texas, that's a really big deal. And so maybe people were just saving their money for the Cinco de Mayo events that were happening. I don't know. But anyway, so I sat there and I have my little what sold, and I also broke it down. I had 9 customers. 9 customers for the whole day. Well, actually not the whole day. I started closing up at 2:30. I just had all I could stand. I couldn't stand any more of this rain. And I sat there for almost 2 hours with not a single customer. So I was like, okay, well, I guess it's time to pack this up. And I called the hubby to come on out here and pick me up. And so anyway, at the last moment, I'm closing up my shop. I'm tearing down the walls. and the Bible study group ladies started peeking at my stuff and started wandering over into my tent. And next thing I know, they have purchased $80 worth of stuff from me. And I was oh so grateful. And hubby pulled up and we packed everything up. And we were in the process of breaking down tables. And all the product had been already packed up. And I hear my dog barking. Anyway, and all of a sudden this guy pulls up and he jumps out of his truck and he goes, "Can I dig through your stuff?" And we're like, "Sure." And he digs into the top basket, top box. It's right there, and it's got all my big stuff in it. And he ended up grabbing 4 of my $30 turtles. Like, I'm talking the last maybe 20 minutes of my day out there, I made almost $200. You know, just in the last 20 minutes of my day. So that really made it worthwhile and tolerable. That rain was awful. Anyway, so sorry about that. I had to step out. Bruiser was barking. I had a delivery. So of course he gets all crazy with those delivery drivers. Alright, so let's get down to the nitty gritty of the numbers. If I can catch my breath. Okay, so that particular event costed me $25 to get in, plus a $20 city permit. And so that's $55 just to get in. And I was sitting there at, what was it, 1 o'clock. I had only made $96, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you know, that's at 1 o'clock. And I was like, oh my goodness, I'm barely gonna make any profit on this at all, you know. Not only am I out the $55, I gotta pay for the gas that I put in the truck, you know. And anyway, so I was just like so disappointed. And that was my thinking as I was sitting there. I'm like, oh well, at least I'm in the profit zone, you know, a little tiny bit. And let's see, I was expecting to make approximately $300 to $350 for the day. That's usually what I do. So, okay, I don't know if you'll find this funny or not, but I came back. I had my battery die, and I came back, and I did the whole rest of my video, and went to go do the editing. I never even recorded it. It's not there. Okay, so let's try to get back to where I was. I don't know if I said it on this part or the part that I didn't record. But as of 1 o'clock, I had only gotten to $96. So I was like way shy of that amount, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make my goals for this week. And anyway, so let's get into what sold. Okay, so my very first customer right off the bat was the event coordinator, and thank you, Kimmy. And she bought a beer stein for $15 and a turtle for $15. My next customer was a lady, and she purchased 3 sticker sets, $2 a piece, for $6. And the next one was a couple, and she bought the possum for him for $15. And then this girl with her dad, she made him pull over, and she ended up getting a bee for $15. So I had a lot of $15 sales that day. Alright, and next up was a little girl and her grandpa, and grandpa's like, get whatever you want. He had no real big price limit on anything, and she ended up with a turtle for $15. And then this lady, she seemed like she was in a hurry, so she just kind of grabbed a caterpillar and $10. And then as I was sitting there with no customers, these three riders on horses rode by, and the one girl, she yells out, "We will be back." And sure enough, they did come back. And they are from Michigan, and they were at one of our dude ranches, and they allow for riding into town on the horses. And so they were having a really good time. And they came back and they purchased one of the cow skulls for $25, a chicken nugget for $8, a mushroom for $8, an armadillo for $25, the dragon for $30, an alien for $15, and a cactus planter for $15. And that was around right about 1 o'clock. And anyway, and I sat there fighting the rain, and I finally was like, two of the vendors had already left. It was just two vendors, and it's rainy, and I haven't had a sale in almost 2 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and start packing it up. And I called hubby to come on out and let's load up, And anyway, as I tore down my walls, the Bible study people that were next to me started looking in my booth and started looking and the two girls came over and they ended up buying 2 cactus planters for $15 a piece, a turtle for $15, and 2 chickens at $18 a piece. And so bless them. That was awesome. That was really awesome. And then, of course, right as we're packing up, that guy jumps out of his vehicle and he ends up buying 3 large sea turtles for $30 a piece and 1 land turtle for $30. And that gave me a total of $418 for the day. Right? That really perked up my mood a little bit. And so anyway, after, let's see, okay, so 207 of that was square and 211 of that was cash. And I paid $30 to hubby for helping. And so that gave me a net profit of $333. And as you can tell, that day's bestseller was turtles. I had 3 large sea turtles, 3 small sea turtles, and then I also sold 3 cactus planters. So those were my bestsellers, sea turtles and cactus planters. And then hubby also had come by and given me lunch, which was, $7.57. So that wasn't bad. That was a pretty cheap lunch, and it was good too. And so anyway, it turned out a lot better than I had thought it was going to, because, you know, like I said, at 2:30 when I packed up, I was only at $217. And all of a sudden, within the last 20 minutes, bam, and it's up to $418. So that was $201 that I sold in the last 20 minutes. So you just never know. So if somebody comes by your booth and says, "Can I dig through your boxes?" you might want to say, "Yeah." It worked out great. So that was pretty good. Next event is on my birthday, May 18th, and it's a $40 to get in, and I usually make around 400 at that event, so fingers crossed that's what will happen. If we can kind of have a little break in the rain. I mean, we need the rain, but I could use a little break. And then after that, the very next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and that's a 2-day event. So I've got 2 events back to back, and that Memorial Day weekend, it was expensive to get into. Very expensive. I paid $150 for a 2-day event. So fingers crossed I make a good profit off of that day. That's my big day that I'm really hoping for, that will pull all of the month of May together, because that's a big one. All right. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a good couple of weeks. It might be at least a week and a half before I see you again. And happy crocheting, everybody. Bye-bye.